doll.
Hey, bud. How we doing, honey?
I'm good.
Got a smile.
Yeah. Well,
And welcome to the Do We Have To crew for another wonderful episode of Do We Have To?
a marriage podcast.
I am your host, Sean.
I'm Emily.
My wonderful wife, Emily Miller, the matriarch of the motherfucking Miller family, where we gather, where we hold house, where we keep the wonderful, majestic, close to Jesus-like Emily Miller.
Oh, gosh. No. And lightning will strike. No.
Hasn't struck yet.
Oh.
I think we're doing all right.
Well, I'm going to need to say an extra rosary later.
We got a wonderful show today, though, right?
Yeah.
It's an exciting day. It's our fourth show, also known as the 8th episode. Just math. Uncle Jeff. Shout out to Uncle Jeff. Oh. And what does that mean we have in store for the audience today, my love?
The book club.
The wonderful Do We Have To book club is back for its second edition. Which book will we be covering today?
Beautiful Ugly.
Beautiful Ugly by Alice Feeney?
Feeney.
Sorry, Alice. I doubt you're going to listen to the show. But if you ever do, sorry about saying your last name wrong. What else do we got going on for the show today for our wonderful Do We Have To crew, my love?
Well, I'm going to give a few shout outs to some of my favorite emotional support coffee.
Oh, we're going to talk some coffee today. Okay. I like that.
Yeah. Cheers to everyone.
Did I go with you on all these journeys?
No.
I talk like we don't talk about this stuff before we get on the show, but I assure you we are organized.
Not as much as we probably could be, but
sure.
We'll get
3 kids, 3 dogs, a near 70-year-old man we take care of and love. I think we're doing all right.
Yeah.
2 surgeries.
Full-time job.
It is. Yeah. Yeah. We're doing all right.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
But,
sorry. Coffee and book club. And what else we got today?
We've watched a few shows that I want to chat about.
Great.
There's a few things that I need to clear up.
This is a pretty light show.
Very.
And you have some, okay, remember I said light show. We're going to have some fun. We're going to talk about movies and books and shit. And then you're like, I got to clear shit up. Okay.
I do.
Go ahead.
There's been some drama that I need to clear up. But first, we are part of the Not an Actual Family production.
Not Actual Family Studios. Production. That's right. Our executive producer.
Colin Maskell.
Yeah. One of these days I'll get all that in tandem. But I feel like we're getting better.
Probably.
It's my fault. I'm supposed to do that. I know that. You always, classic wife, you're always just picking up behind me.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I love you.
Thank you, babe. I love you too.
It's what I'm here for.
I appreciate that, Rosebud.
Yeah, follow you along. But so I want to give a quick shout out to some coffee places.
Let's hear it.
We've hit some pretty good ones.
So starting strong with coffee.
As I like.
Emily's emotional support coffee segment. Let's hit it.
I first have to give a shout out to Scooters because I'm sorry, but their sugar cookie latte this winter for their Candyland
I've never seen you quite
game thing.
Yeah.
So good. And I'm not like an overly sweet coffee person. Like I like cinnamon, hazelnut, vanilla, caramel every once in a while. But like that sugar cookie was damn good.
What do you think it was about it that addicted you in the way that it did?
I have no idea. I have no clue. I have even gone so far to like Google the recipe and see if I can recreate it here at home, and I cannot figure it out.
Interesting.
I know.
Okay.
Like I've tried to figure out the pistachio latte from Starbucks. Mm-hmm. Can't figure it out either.
They don't just have, I'm pretty sure they have
so I
these
just
online.
buy pistachio flavored creamer and stuff, like, because that's as basic as I get. I'm not going to do like the whole syrups and, steam this. Like we have a coffee pot. Like I'm not making like.
Yeah, we're not going to have a barista station, you mean, on the limited counter space we already have that really is taken up by clothes and things that don't really matter in the first place as opposed to actual things.
And like 1,000 lunch boxes.
Right.
And, yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But then we also have been to.
Just brazed over that really quick. Again, like I said, in the 13 plus years that I've known you, I've never seen you act like this about a coffee. So did it actually taste like a sugar cookie? I never had one.
Yeah.
It did.
Yeah.
Like legitimately it just tastes exactly like a sugar cookie.
Like, the big fluffy sugar cookies that have like the frosting on the top.
I just never fucked with them very much. And it's just because I just always found them very bland. And I hate the royal frosting or whatever.
No, it's not the royal frosting. It's like the buttercream frosting.
Yeah, whatever it is. I hated it.
I don't like the frosting on any of those cookies, but give me a good sugar cookie and I like it. But I can only eat like one of them and then I'm done. But like that latte, I could drink like 10 a day.
Fair enough. Got it. Sorry. Go ahead. Continue. It was just, it kind of did flabbergast me during the holidays when you were drinking those nonstop, because that's just not normally you.
No.
You drink more hipster swill, not commercial corporate muck.
What do you mean by hipster?
Hipster swill.
Yeah, what is that?
It's like you go out of your way to like find a coffee that my opinion doesn't taste quite as well, but it's like you're like different and edgy and like you're,
Just drinking
you're a real coffee drinker as opposed to like the rest of us sheep that walk into, these corporate places like Starbucks and Scooters, which we're actually not supposed to be talking about, but that's fair enough.
I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
They're always really nice too. Like,
oh yeah, no, they're great. The scooter ladies over there off right by Zona Rosa are fantastic.
yeah. Well, and so are like the ones on 45 and the ones on
I prefer
Brighton.
Zona Rosa.
Where else? have I been?
The best ones are at Zona Rosa.
Oh, okay.
Plus, I always get really put out. Like, it's no offense to a guy being a barista. It's fine. I don't know. I just feel like the girls do better customer service.
Yeah, you do have a thing. We'll have to talk about that one day. Like, you have a thing.
It's a bias.
Yeah. I don't know where it came from. I don't know what.
I'm not like mean to a person if they're a male. I'm just not excited about it in the same way that I would be if it was I just feel like women understand customer service better than
but it's not
especially
just,
young guys.
It's not just restaurants. It's everywhere.
What do you mean?
Like you're biased towards it.
I mean, we can jump into this if you want. You want to talk about Nebraska Furnish Mart? We can fucking do that all day.
No, I sure don't. But we will get to it.
Okay.
I promise.
Okay.
We will get to it. We've also been to Rochester Coffee, which has 2 locations, one in the Crossroads and one in Parkville. Our kids love the Parkville location because it looks like a train.
Right. Well, really quick. So you mentioned you're throwing locations out. Now, a lot of people that listen to the show are from Kansas City, so they know right away. Where's the Crossroads located in Kansas City, Missouri?
Downtown.
Yeah, so downtown area of Kansas City, and then Parkville.
In the Crossroads.
Well, right.
I don't know how else to explain it.
No. But there's people know that there's suburb area. Like we live in the suburban area, the Northland area of Kansas City, Missouri, right? We don't live in downtown Kansas City, but this particular branch is like right in downtown. It's not too far from Southwest Boulevard either, right? Which Southwest Boulevard is kind of a main road as well that has a bunch of restaurants and stuff. Well, maybe I'm totally off here.
I don't know the cross streets.
Okay, well, you just said it like, well, it's right here. Obviously, you should know. And then now, so you don't really know. So, okay. So
like
downtown.
if you talk to another Kansas Cityan and you say the Crossroads, they know what you're talking about.
No, I know that. I know. I'm just trying to explain that for anybody else. So it is in the downtown area of our city. And then we have one that's in Parkville. Parkville, Missouri is a small town. Again, it's a suburb of Kansas City. Yeah. And it's kind of right off the riverfront. There's a university or Park University, and they have like kind of like a small, beautiful neighborhood. And then they're in the main strip. They have a ton of shops and stuff. I actually mentioned one of the shops
little downtown area
a few episodes ago because for Christmas I got you some earrings from that Parkville jewelry store. Mm-hmm. Your earrings. And so that place is lovely. I highly recommend if you are in the Kansas City area, if you get an opportunity, especially during certain times of the year, because they have this like riverfront festival. They have Christmas on the river, and they have just some awesome little spots, but they also have a hell of a fucking park where you can go. If you wanted to go and run 6 miles, you could, and you're right up against the river, or go as short as you want. They have baseball fields. They have fields where they have a pickleball court now. They just have a ton of nice stuff. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So that one's there, to Emily's point, is attached to a train. It used to be an old Mexican food restaurant. For a while, I believe a long time ago, it was a Ponax, which is a Mexican restaurant. Yeah. When we first moved here. But now it is an awesome coffee shop. Yeah. And they also serve their own brewed beer. Yeah, they are a brewery too. Yeah. Sorry. I've not drank there. Alcohol, I've had one, but I've always gotten coffee. Yeah. Yep. Mm-hmm. And then, we've also been to another Parkville location coffee spot called 10 and 2. It's off of 45 highway. Yep. So I don't technically know if they're in Parkville or if that's Kansas City. It's not too far away from Maskell Manor, from my understanding. I don't know. But they're good. They have a cute little aesthetic, like little airplane car kind of situation happening, like classic car, old airplane stuff. They have a wing hanging from their ceiling. And yeah, they have a theme. Their theme is clever. It's fun. And they're also a bar. Yeah, they have a like a little cocktail lounge.
Yeah.
It's kind of got a little speakeasy vibe to it mixed with a coffee shop. It is pretty cool. And the coffee's pretty tasty. And again, I think
And they had gluten-free options this morning.
Yeah, they did. They had like two. That's better than most places, though. It's so funny. I was going to say you shouldn't shake your head at that. And you did like it, right? Like that's the other hit or miss, right? Can you find anything that's actually gluten-free at all? And then does it remotely taste good? And it checked the mark for both of you, right? Yeah, well, there you go.
And I didn't get sick, so I'm fine.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. All right, so.
Oh, that's all you want to talk about with coffee? That's very anticlimactic.
I'm really sorry. There's just not a lot that you can talk about with coffee.
I don't know. Maybe like we fabricate, like you got in some sort of fight or like some sort of drama or something. I don't know. Like you fucking went in there and carried it.
With a bear. I don't
know. But okay, fair enough. Yeah, no. And again, if anybody has any spots they'd like us to try, I did get a message about one in Colorado, and we're not quite there yet.
No.
I have heard, next time we're in Colorado, though, I will check this place out in Breckenridge. I'm trying to remember the name of it off the top of my head, but we have gotten a couple recommendations, but they're out of the kind of tri-state area that I threw out. So continue, let us know. We'll talk about we'll definitely visit, a review, and discuss these coffee shops. But if you're coming to the Kansas City area and if you're needing a recommendation, we have been getting around. So yeah.
I feel like there's a better way to say that, but yeah.
Well, we have been getting around. It would not surprise me if we have some sort of coffee STD.
Oh, too far.
Why?
Too far.
If there was, we have been trying a lot of coffees, and we have not been asking any questions about where it's been, what they've been doing, what their history is. I'll let you connect the dots.
I know where my favorite coffee beans come from.
Do you? You really do? Did they get tested? Okay. I'll let you sit on that for a little bit. I'll let you sit on your decisions for a little while longer. It's Bridgerton happening all over again.
It's not.
It is.
It's really not.
It really is.
Don't
be bringing shit back to me.
Well, guess what, sir?
Or this is going to be called Are We Gonna? A divorce podcast.
Absolutely not. You are stuck with me, motherfucker.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I do feel like, though, I need to move on because there are a couple of things that have been brought to my attention that I do need to clear up. And one of them is regarding the whole gluten-free situation.
Hold on. We're not doing a good job training. So we're doing the let me clear the air segment, I guess, huh?
Yeah.
Is that what we're doing? Okay, sorry. I just want to make sure that's what we were doing. I didn't want to make sure I wasn't in my mindset of talking about our book. Go ahead.
No, we're going to talk about the book, like probably the last thing.
Okay, deal.
Yeah. Is that okay with you?
No. I'm following your lead. I am.
These two topics, one was sent to you privately via text message, and then
oh yeah, that's true.
I was like ambushed at a Valentine's Day party for.
I wouldn't call it ambushed. Somebody asked you.
I was ambushed.
It's very dramatic.
At our child's school. Anyways, I have celiac, and I was diagnosed as an adult. And someone took very great offense to me not liking croissants one day. And I would like you to know, America and beyond, I love croissants. Probably my favorite pastry besides a macaron. I love croissants. Any and all kinds. Almond, chocolate, butter, all of it.
Yeah, you named some croissants here.
Apparently, in one episode, I offended people by saying that I hate croissants. I don't remember saying that.
You didn't say you hated croissants. Maybe it alluded that you didn't like them, but it was not because you don't like croissants. It's because
there's not a good gluten-free croissant.
Right.
At least I haven't found one.
That was when
so if you know of one, send it my way, and I will gladly go get it, and I will eat it, and I will probably love it. But gluten-free...
I guarantee there's got to be one out there.
Gluten-free and pastry don't normally go together.
It takes a really skilled baker to make it where it abides by the code. Because celiac versus gluten, Gluten is just, you're trying to really watch a certain ingredient, but you're not worried about what's called cross-contamination. Whereas celiac is for like anything even touches something that had gluten on it, it makes Emily sick. It is the most annoying disease ever.
Yeah, I'm not a fan.
No, I'm not saying it like you having it's annoying. It is the most annoying because like it is impossible, in my opinion, especially in this country, to
Outside
have
of
a
our home.
sanitized, even in our home, because no offense, that stuff tastes terrible and it's insanely expensive. So if not everybody in the house is celiac, it is really, it's about damn near impossible to keep everything separated out. I mean, I know we do that. I think overall you don't get sick, but like it is a freaking process because you can't have any cross-contamination, meaning you're using separate silverware, your separate dishes, all those sorts of things. And if something touches it or if you accidentally forget it, or if you're not smart enough to remember if you cooked it or not, you have to start from scratch and start all over.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm saying something that anybody who has celiac disease knows. But if you're not aware of that, if you know of anybody that has celiac, just be mindful of that. It doesn't matter if you prevent the stuff from being in the food. If something that has gluten in it is touching it or around it or is in the same surface or same container, it probably will make that person sick depending on.
Yeah.
I mean, if they're really celiac, it'll make them sick.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or, just going to throw it out there, if you have a friend that's like, fucking, I'm celiac, I can't do that, or like whatever, and it annoys the shit out of you, here's what you do. You make something gluten-free. Just rub it in something gluten, okay? Let them eat it. And then when they taste it, they'll know it's gluten-free because it tastes like shit. And they'll be like, oh, yeah, everything's fine. They act like they're fine an hour or two later. They're not celiac. If they get really sick, they have celiac.
I don't advocate for that at all.
That's recommended.
No, absolutely not.
Do we have to, a marriage podcast? We don't appreciate posers.
Oh my God. Good Lord. And then, so please send me.
We're done there?
Yeah. Please send me your gluten-free pastries. I don't know where to go from there.
I'm enjoying this ride of you taking us on topics. Go ahead. You're doing great.
I'm not doing a great job.
No, you're doing, that's not what I meant at all. No, this is funny because it's just like, I'm done. That's all. It's very Forrest Gump. It's like, that's all I got to say about that.
There's nothing to say after you say something like that. Like, no, don't do that to somebody.
Why don't you just say what you really mean?
I don't know.
Tell Brandon how you feel about him.
I want him to eat gluten-free and tell me if he finds a gluten-free
Tell
croissant.
little Brandon McCammon.
Is that who texted you?
Yeah. And he wasn't saying anything bad. He made a joke.
Oh, well. Okay.
Yeah.
He gets a pass.
Shout out to Brandon McCammon. We also call him Le Petite.
I don't know why.
I've never called him that before, but I'm going to start now.
Oh my God.
It's because he's tiny.
He's not.
He's small.
Okay. I'm sure he's going to hate all of this. Oh, good grief.
It felt good to say.
Okay, so the next one that I need to clear up because I'm going to move on.
Yeah, just air your grievances. I like this. Maybe this is what we just start doing from now on.
Grievance Fridays?
Maybe.
Except it's not a Friday. Oh, no, it is a Friday.
It is Friday.
Oh,
yeah.
gosh.
God.
It's been a
I don't
long
even know
week.
what day it is.
It's been a long week, y'all.
I really did question that. I was like doing the math in my head. Shout out Uncle Jeff.
Yeah. Math is mathin'.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Can you let's break this down.
we had a
Because
Valentine's Day party.
Valentine's Day party at the kids' school.
Yes, and I got to go, and I went from like every kid classroom to classroom, 3 different classrooms. And I went into one of our child. I don't want to point this person out.
What's that? They didn't do anything wrong.
No, they didn't, but I don't want them to
Let them be a part of the show. They were fun. It was actually a very good, I mean, it's not incorrect. It was actually a very correct observation.
But I didn't realize that I was doing it.
That's fine.
But anyways.
You can wear black anytime you want. And I thought it was awesome that they pointed it out.
Me and some moms were chatting, and she was giving us just mentioned the podcast that she was listening, and
yeah,
she
and thank
really
you for listening, by the way.
it.
Yeah, you're shitting on a fan. Go ahead.
No, I'm not.
I'm kidding.
And I was also wearing black the day of the Valentine's Day parties.
Because that's all you wear is black.
There is other colors.
She's not wrong.
And I was like, what are you talking about? And she goes, every time I see you, podcast, out of podcast, all the time, You're always wearing black. Every
right.
day. Black. Black on black. Always in black. And first of all...
You're an emo adult.
Well, first of all, I will stop wearing black when you find me a darker color. Secondly, I apologize. But yes, I am an elder millennial emo. I'm not gothic. I'm not like...
It was like
weird.
you dipped your toes in the pool of goth.
I didn't,
And you
though.
stopped at Story of the Year.
Exactly.
Until the day I die.
But I just... I do joke that I'm like dead inside sometimes, but I'm not. But I feel comfortable in black, I guess.
Yeah.
And I just
It's
realized right now that I'm in black.
We
again.
both used to be 150 pounds, 175 pounds bigger. Black is a very friendly color to the fat nation, our people.
I don't know. I just
It's a slimming color, and I always feel better. I mean, I always felt like I looked better when I was wearing black.
yeah.
But you know the kind of shit they sell. I mean,
like,
if
with
you're
black
bigger, you know what I'm
dresses
talking about. You walk through a fucking store, and I think it's gotten a little bit better. But
You
man,
don't want stripes going in the
when
wrong
there is
direction.
large, like you go to the large, like the big and tall section or whatever, it is the most fucking ridiculous looking clothes. Like, how hard is it to make a 2X fucking just plain green shirt? It has to have fucking diamonds, like just pointing out like we're some sort of fucking giraffe walking
I was
around
gonna say,
all
like,
day.
certain prints and patterns, like when you are bigger,
Fuck you, JCPenney.
they accentuate things that you don't want to accentuate.
Yeah, you look like a
And so,
fucking
like,
circus animal.
Black just has always been like a safe.
Yeah. Black and solid white. I mean, I think that's a go. At least that was a go to mine. It was just solid colors normally.
Yeah.
But like anytime you were like, oh, I want to get some new clothes, I was always turned off by going into stores like that because you're going to usually some sort of chain store that has a
Or
big
like
and tall
for
section.
women, you look like an 80-year-old grandma. Like, no.
Oh yeah, you're absolutely right. You're talking about like couch fucking
Patterns
designs.
and
Yes, absolutely.
So I will make a conscious effort, everyone, to start wearing color.
Just wear what you want to wear. It's fun. This is just a fun little topic to bring up that you do have a dark heart and you have a dark soul and you are an emo. And I love every bit of that about you.
Yeah.
If I'm not making love to you while we're listening to Dashboard, I don't want to make love or listen to Dashboard. Let that sit in your mind for a minute and percolate.
I don't want to.
Do the math.
I don't.
Shout out Uncle Jeff.
No. Ew. No.
Got to shout out Uncle Jeff.
Not during that.
Maybe sometimes.
No.
Once or twice.
Good God. Do you have anything you want to clear up?
Clear up?
Yeah. Or a grievance?
No, you know what? Actually, and I really wish I would have been more mindful. And you know what? I'll tag the Do We Have To crew member because they were a new subscriber. They took the time to comment on a video and they provided some really good feedback. It's not a grievance and I'm not clearing the air. It is, hey, it was an awesome comment. So we're getting all these comments. I'm trying to run through and a lot of them are positive. And then the ones that are negative, it's not necessarily constructive. I love constructive feedback. I like to get better, especially doing this. We want to make sure that we have a show that is something you can, when you're having a fucking day, you can just put on and whatever shit you got to do. It's just something. And if you get a chuckle out of it or if you get something out of it, great. And they pointed, it was 3 lines in a row. It was love the show or good podcast, something like that. Please let Emily finish a sentence. Please let Emily finish a sentence. Please let Emily finish a sentence. Thank you. And so I saw that and I was like, the last thing, I mean, I wasn't upset about that. It wasn't offensive. I thought about it and I kind of thought through and I was like, a lot of times when I'm doing the show, I feel like I'm like kind of directing, keeping things on point or whatever and talking. And I know that wasn't necessarily something you were comfortable with doing initially, which you do a great job with it now that we've kind of been in it. And so that was kind of that mindset. And I felt like I'm making excuses. I was just talking over you a lot. There you go. I mean, there's no excuse to it. I was talking over you a ton. And not in my mind, it wasn't intentional. But sure, the fuck seemed like it. So I'm just going to say I was talking over you. And they pointed that out. And I actually, ever since then, I've been, well, as of today, I'm very mindful of that because we've already recorded all the shows before I got that comment. So I will tag that person that was offended. And you know what's so sad about this fucking world? I guess maybe let's just do some commentary on this with the, I want to clear the air here. Our world is so fucked right now that me responding and just saying, hey, appreciate the feedback. I'm going to take that in consideration going forward. You're absolutely right. And, that's literally all I said. It was not a big deal. It was just basically acknowledging and validating the person's critique because it was not only was it a critique, but it was an actual useful critique. It wasn't anything harsh or unnecessarily trying to cause harm. It was just a critique. Like, hey, I'm enjoying the show. Stop fucking talking over your wife every 5 seconds. That's very reasonable. And the fact that they were so shocked that I responded and said, yeah, I'm going to work on that. If that doesn't give you kind of where we are in the state of the world right now, it's really sad. So like having that situation come up.
Most people just don't take accountability for things.
I know. And that's why we fail at a lot of things. It's because we're not focused on ourselves. We always want to project or blame other things or external factors for causing the issue or ultimately leading to our failure. And it's really ours.
Yeah.
That and being afraid of failure, because failure is really what builds us into success. But you're absolutely right. But I mean, they are 100% right. They are 100% right, which is why I've been more laid back today as far as like, I'm trying not to, talk over you. And I will continue to do that going forward. You know what I mean? And so I will say, hey, and on top of that, they brought up a good point, but I've actually never apologized to you for that. So
yeah, you did.
Not on air.
Well, no.
So, after I got the comment, obviously, I looked back at a couple episodes and I about wanted to smack myself in the face now that I was listening for it. But I never actually apologized to you. And so I am sorry about that because I feel like there was probably some really good content that you could have brought to people that would have helped people or added to the show being more enjoyable. And I talked over you. So
thank you.
Let me clear the air and say I'm a fucking pig.
Oh, God.
And I'm a part of the problem. Hey, hi, it's me. I'm the problem. It's me. Shout out Taylor.
Okay.
So with that being said, so it's that. And then, can I this is not related, but it is related. Just the state of the world kind of thing, right? Uh-huh. Watching the hockey game last night. Yeah. I was in a bad mood about it. And it's just because we could be as human beings, especially the US, because this is a great country. And we have gotten so outside of what we should be. And I'm not talking about politically, like fucking let's leave all that shit away. It is whatever your political beliefs and who you vote for and all that stuff, that's your own fucking business. And I'm tired of everybody trying to like manipulate or talk about like what you should or shouldn't be doing. Whoever you voted for, you voted for. You guys know who we voted for because we've talked about it, right? But I'm not, that's your business. I have my beliefs, you have your beliefs, whatever. Why are we booing other nations' national anthem? Like, they're not a fucking bad guy at a wrestling show. Like, last time I checked, I haven't seen anything where it wasn't a reactionary thing where Canada has said something negative about us. And I'm sure there's going to be a bunch of comments where somebody said something like 20 years ago or something like that. But my point is that it's not needed, even if there was something negative said that we didn't solicitate or ask for in some sort of way. It is very disappointing. Like, I just think we're not doing a good job overall. And I'm including myself in that, just talking about what I talked about with my own shit. We're not doing a good job being more mindful of other people. We're just reacting purely on emotion or just what we think we should be doing. I don't know. It's just really disappointing.
Yeah, but it led to the first game. It led to some really awesome fights.
Well, that was actually, here's the thing.
Canada booed America.
Yeah. And see,
and then
why can't we be
in Boston?
We should be leading being better. You know what I mean? If we are one of the most powerful, and we are, and if we do feel like we are, the top dog, then we have to be leading. We have to be leading much more with positivity. And then when we do need to be firm on something, it needs to be something much more healthy than the bullshit we're doing. That's all.
Yeah, but also part of the culture in hockey is get into fisticuffs. Like
there's nothing wrong with fighting.
You want the fights, like
they're fighting. The players themselves are fine. Who cares that they fought? They played an awesome game with each other. It's the fucking fans.
Yeah, it's
the people that are riling things up that are creating more issues than there has to be. That's all I'm saying. You know what I mean? Anyway.
Yeah.
Sorry. We can. Hey, I've cleared everything I wanted to clear out.
Okay.
We're all good.
Well, you kind of brought us into the do we have to watch that segment. So we were going to chat about the hockey game.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to jump over. My bad. No.
But now I want to backtrack and
More
go to other
comments.
things that we do we have to watch that with Scamanda on Hulu. Drama.
So, well, here.
It's a 4-part docuseries. And it's streaming on Hulu, but I think it was live on like ABC or NBC or something. I think ABC. And the season finale was supposed to be last night, but I haven't watched it yet. So I will watch that on Hulu sometime this weekend. Because it's too late to do it.
Yeah, but if you are looking for some, and these are things where, it's kind of funny when Emily and I are talking about these things, we're obviously recommending books, we're recommending shows, or we're talking about recent events, right? Yeah. These are things being mindful that we feel like generally we enjoy as a married couple. This is something that maybe you guys would as well. And that Scamanda one is, I guess it is technically a crime, huh? Because she did she get arrested?
Fraud.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Which it's a really fucked up story. So if you haven't heard about this, can you kind of maybe just give a quick synopsis on what it's about without giving too much away?
It's about a girl named Amanda Riley, I think is her last name.
Yeah, sorry.
But she faked having cancer. And
right, and she was like part of the big mega church, right?
And scammed people out of like hundreds of thousands of
dollars.
All
her folks were,
it's just really, really dirty. Like having worked in an environment where you're helping people with cancer and like diseases and, terminal major medical issues. And then, having gone through like what I went through, like with being told that you got pre-cancer cells. Like, I mean, that word is horrifying. Like that's a big deal. Having family members go through cancer treatment process and like being around to watch that, like on both sides of my family, on your family. Like, I mean, if you know someone touched by that, it's devastating. It's heartbreaking. It's horrible. You shouldn't wish that on anyone. And like to use that to be like, I don't even know like the right word, but that's just it's
evil.
It really is. Like, I just
makes for fucking great TV though.
It did. But
I haven't watched all of it, but I've watched the little bit that I have watched with you. And then when we were showing Dad a trailer for it, they do a great job. And essentially what's happened is, so Emily broke down the person, what they did, but what happened is that basically a reporter was like, there's just some things that don't sound right about this. And then they kind of contacted some people they knew and kind of set them down this trail. And then this fucking girl just goes after it. It's very
they went down a rabbit hole that I didn't even knew existed. And man, did they come out with something good.
It's very like, don't fuck with kittens or cats or whatever type of style where it was like, they got onto it. Well, right. But I'm just saying it's kind of that mold where it was like somebody sniffed something out and then it was like, oh, you motherfucker. I'm going to get to the bottom of this. And it culminates in that woman doing an interview, the reporter doing an interview with the actual Amanda. And it is fucking fantastic. So highly recommend watching that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The other
good
one.
Good weekend one.
Yeah. Cause it's like a quick
You can
binge.
knock it out. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. The other one that I watched at like 4:00 in the morning this week. When I couldn't sleep was the Gabby Petito story on Netflix.
Yeah, that was nice waking up to multiple times in the middle of the night. That's a fuck story. And I'm sure most people know about that, but that's a girl that was going to go live like van life. And she's going to she just had started her own YouTube channel right before she was murdered. And it's kind of like talks about what led up to it with the boyfriend, what happened after, how their parents were involved, which is super fucked. I don't know how they weren't arrested. I don't want to get into details. I don't want to spoil it for somebody, but watch that. It's on Netflix and it just came out. Watch that because it doesn't take a long time to get through it, but it is really well shot.
It's heartbreaking.
It surprised me. I thought maybe Colin might have produced it. It was so good. And it was just a fantastic, fantastic show, Rosebud. And I tell you what, if you're going to roll over and kind of not know where you are, I want to see some parents covering up some murder. So thank you for that.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm glad I could.
Your insomnia that you have from your going through menopause, you're not going through it. you have gone through menopause now automatically. Yeah,
like
post
surgical
menopause has brought in some interesting viewing in the middle of the night.
Well, and like we both have like a cold again, so like that's not helping because I can't breathe at night.
I know.
Like,
Well, but I feel for you, bud, so bad just because I can just tell you just can't sleep. Like it is heartbreaking, and it is so hard to roll over and fall back asleep, and it takes a lot of effort. And I don't know.
And murder shows aren't the way you want to do it.
Sometimes I feel like it's like more work for me, but just kidding. But no, the murder show was fine. I actually stayed up almost a half an hour without falling back to sleep at like 3:30 or 4 o'clock in the morning because it was so interesting.
It was.
That's how good this fucking documentary is. So highly recommend watching it. Again, something you can knock out in an evening if you don't feel like going to sleep, or if you guys were laying in bed and your kids aren't all over you finally, and you feel a little less, what's it called? When you're overstimulated and you're ready to watch somebody else's drama unfold, or be like, hey, thank God that didn't happen to me. That's a good one.
Also, my children are never dating.
I'm not going to let our kid. That's a very good point.
Like, sorry.
Good luck. You want? I'll go with you because we'll just make sure there's fucking Wi-Fi in the van. It ain't going to happen. Yeah. That they were really young too. Like it's not a comment on the parents or anything. It's just you just don't know in this world. I mean, it could have been fine. What are you going to do if you're a parent? But I tell you what I'm going to do. That's not going to fucking happen.
Yeah, you want to spend 3 days in the woods? Fuck no.
Well, even her getting a van and going by themselves. If our kids want to do that, I almost am just gonna go with them. I'm gonna go with
my own van.
Tegan, Maeve, you guys want to go fucking drive a van? Your brother and me are coming with you.
Yep, we're in it. We're gonna do it as a family.
Because if a boyfriend tries to kill you, I'm pretty sure Seamus and I will kill that boyfriend. Seamus has that in him.
No. No.
I do. And he would help.
No, but there would be some shit going on.
Oh, absolutely. But yeah, highly recommend that watch. It's a good one.
But one that we have watched together all the way through and have gone on a serious binge, Love is Blind.
Yeah. And you want to take it back to a marriage podcast too. It is actually, I like reality TV myself. You're not a huge reality TV person, but I will say, like, if you want to actually watch something where it's actually based off an actual psychological experiment. It actually attempts to try to forge lifelong relationships. And it has the former lead singer of 98 Degrees in it. Is there anything more perfect? Like, I imagine heaven is watching. Story. Oh, sorry. Yeah, go right ahead.
Quick. Real quick.
No.
I want our audience to know that at one point in time.
I know what you're going to say. Don't bring this up because I don't want Nick to hear it. He doesn't remember me. Okay. You're going to do it, aren't you?
No.
Go ahead. No, I want you to do it. You know what? I deserve it for talking over you so much in these last episodes. No. Go ahead. No, put my shit on Front Street. It was like 20 years ago, so let's go.
Sean
11.
got blocked on...
It's really not that big of a deal.
Was it Twitter?
Yes, it was Twitter.
When tweeting first came out because he kept tweeting Nick Lachey too often?
Well, I would include him in tweets that really had nothing to do with him. I would literally tag him in anything. Like I remember we were talking about a kickball thing my corporate thing was doing. Be like, sure, be nice to have Nick Lachey on my team.
Yeah. And
I wonder what you thought about that when we first started dating, that I absolutely loved Nick Lachey. And honestly, I liked 98 Degrees, but I didn't really like them as far as like, they were probably my third favorite band behind Backstreet Boys and NSYNC. And Backstreet Boys was my favorite, NSYNC 2, and then 98 Degrees 3. No offense to NSYNC, it's just I've always been a Backstreet Boys guy. I used to call, Uncle Will and I would call girls, and this is before cell phones. Uncle Will and I would, well, it wasn't before cell phones, before they were like just a normal thing that you had on you. Uncle Will and I would call girls on their phones or whatever, and if they got their answering machine or a lot of times I'm sure it was a family answering machine, we would sing "You Are My Fire" by Backstreet Boys. So we would ring, or if they'd answer, and we wouldn't say anything. We'd, "You are my fire, my one desire," and we would sing the song for like probably an unnecessary amount of time in a terrible fashion.
Yeah, no.
Backstreet Boys will always be my number one.
Got it.
But I did include him quite a bit. And then also to what I was saying to that point is that I got obsessed with, like, I just really enjoy it. Kind of like how I am, like I just vibed on him. I just thought he was a cool dude. And it was from watching that damn Nick and Jessica.
Yeah, which
The reality show.
I never watched until I met you. Yeah.
And I have no hate towards Jessica, but she made a mistake, and Vanessa got all the gains from it. So I highly believe that.
But anyway, back to Love Is Blind.
Sorry, Love Is Blind. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which he is the host of, so it's still on
Yes.
point. Go ahead.
It's just a really good show.
Yeah, absolutely.
And some of these people are crazy.
But most of them
And then
actually,
some of them like you really want to root for.
you get really pleasantly surprised. It is actually a pretty good representation of the world. There really isn't actually a lot of bad people out there. There's a couple.
Right.
And then in the middle, there's a lot of people based on their experiences. They do fucked up things because of the things they've gone through, and they don't know, they haven't processed through them yet. And they don't understand that the way they negatively handle their shit affects other people. And sometimes they figure it out on the show, and you do root for them. And then there's some good people where you're like, holy shit, this worked out. Like that, how often is that actually happening where you're seeing this really good, healthy relationship? And there's been seasons where there's some really emotionally healthy, like very emotionally intelligent women as a group. And then guys, it kind of does seem though like, and I assume this is like a production thing, right? Because you go out and you profile these personalities. It seems like they always have one gender group seems to have a little bit more together than the other.
Yeah.
And then they bring these folks together and they date in these pods, but they don't ever get to see each other until they decide if they want to get married or not. And they date each other, all of each other. So it is truly like they get access to everybody. Then as they say they're interested in somebody and that person says they're interested in them, that dwindles down to that number. And then it ultimately leads to a proposal.
Yeah.
And if there's a proposal, then they get to be seen together. They get to meet each other in person. Then they get to go on a honeymoon. Then they move in together. So it's actually like
they do everything.
Hey, you're going to go through
backwards.
but they go through the process of everything you need to do to really determine if you're going to feel like you're compatible enough to marry somebody.
Yeah.
So highly recommend that show. There's 8 seasons of it. The newest season just started on the 14th. Emily and I aren't even in that season. We're on season 5.
But we just finished season 5.
We're wrapping it up and we're about to be on season 6.
Yeah.
So got 8. Hey, what is it Netflix that does that?
Netflix.
Netflix, if you need a podcast host for Love Is Blind, I'm sure you already have one. But if you want to fire that one and bring somebody in, Emily and I are available.
Yeah. Sure.
Absolutely. Awesome segment on Do We Have to Watch This? We should do that more often. But here's the thing. If we do it, eventually we have enough audience now where it would be nice. Hey, what do you want us to go watch, right? And I would.
Nothing horror.
I think we should do whatever they want us to do.
Oh, I don't like horror.
I would just love to hear you talk about it. It's not because I would like get some sort of joy out of you being scared, but it doesn't even have to be horror. Just something you're not interested in watching. I'd love for you to give feedback on that. I think that's when you're at your cleverest, when you're watching something you don't necessarily want to watch, because I feel like that's what you're thinking about.
Probably.
Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. All right. Well, speaking of couples, what do or do not go together, let's dive into the book.
Well, we can't do that quite yet because we have to talk about our sponsor of the Do We Have to Book Club.
Okay, go for it.
Because when you become a sponsor of the show and you say, hey, I want to be a sponsor of this segment, I listen to your show and I like it, and this is where I want to do business with you, we have got to say that, right? Mm-hmm. And that is Emma Enchanted Travel. So Emma has been with us since the beginning of the Do We Have to Book Club. She is a travel agent for specifically for the parks. She is obviously a Disney enthusiast, but Universal, right? And she has personal experience with both those parks. She does an absolutely fantastic job, but she does a fantastic job because, and she reminds me a lot of Kiley in this way, as far as our other sponsor. They both are human beings that are extremely emotionally intelligent. I think they'd fucking rock it in Love Is Blind. And they do such a great job of trying to understand who you are as a human being, who you are as your family, and what you want your vacation to be. And not only does she do that, she will go over everything with you. She actually keeps up on everything going on in the park. She makes sure that she even studies the history of the park. She actually has a newsletter. You can go to her website. It is actually on our website at dowehavto.com. If you go to the Do We Have to Book Club section, Emma Enchanted Travel is right there as a sponsor of the show. There is a Get More Information button. You can sign up for her newsletter. You can actually sign up for a free consultation. She doesn't charge you for anything unless you book, and she doesn't charge you for doing the booking. She gets paid actually from the parks. She does not get paid from you. So I have seen her do her job. Is she does, if I've dealt with multiple travel planners, she's the best one by far. It's not even close. If you're planning a trip to Disney or Universal, get with Emma. Go to our website, dowehavето.com. Go out to Emma Enchanted Travel site. Follow her, Emma Enchanted Travel, on Instagram. She does a great job. Thank you, Emma, so much for being a part of the show.
Yeah.
Now let's dive into it. What is the book again? Because we did mention it at the beginning of the show, but can we give a little view of the book? Because it is actually a pretty looking book.
Yeah. So here's the book.
Look at that. Look at that beautiful fucking island, but there's a tear in it. Oh no, there's a tear. What does that mean?
It's not. That's just the cover.
Yeah, there's a tear. The picture is a tear. So,
yeah.
Right? So the picture is a tear. Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay.
What are you freaking out about?
Oh, so we were getting...
It's just an Amazon package. You're fine.
Interrupted.
Not at all. We're good. It's an Amazon package. Who cares?
Anyways.
Thank you, Amazon.
Yes, we love Amazon. We love Amazon. Anyways, this book. It is called Beautiful Ugly by Alice Feeney. And it is about a married couple. And they are not compatible, like most people on Love is Blind.
Well, let's not give too much of the book away, but it doesn't necessarily start out that way. You kind of have to go through the process.
It's definitely a suspense, like, genre, thriller, psychological kind of thriller book.
Like, do you really know the person you're married to, right?
Right.
Or are you even trying to understand who they are?
Right.
And what does that type of damage cause?
And so Sean and I kind of, we developed a system for how we're going to judge books. And it's going to be alarm clocks based on the amount of sleep that we're willing to lose to finish a book.
And I think we've all been there, right? Sorry,
Yes.
I talked over. Fuck. Sorry.
You're fine.
No.
And so I gave this book 6 alarm clocks out of 8.
Well, can we, and I appreciate you giving the score, which I kind of feel like we should hold that for the end, but let's do it.
Sorry.
No, don't be sorry. The scoring, though, I wanted to elaborate a little bit more on this. So we determined that we're going to base it out of 8. So it's going to be 8 alarm clocks. So if it's a perfect book that you pick it up and from page 1 to the last page, you're going to stay up all night. You're going to lose all 8 hours sleep, correct? Because what have we grown up? What have we grown up hearing our entire lives? You need at least 8 hours of sleep to be a healthy, functioning human being. So we're going to base this number, and you gave it a 6?
I gave it a 6 because I did stay up all night and I did watch it all night long or read it all night long. Like I did finish the book in 2 nights.
But that's not staying up all night. So, I mean, I guess appropriate was you got to, because you read it for a couple hours the first. This is actually, goddamn, this is really mathematically, shout out Uncle Jeff. This is all spot on because you did stay up a couple hours the first night. Mm-hmm. And I think you got to the point where you really ran into the suspense of the book. Because I do think the author does a good job of slow build up.
And then I stayed up until it was done.
You stayed up all night.
I did.
6. I think that's actually appropriate. See, this is a good way that the audience, our Do We Have to crew understands how we score these things. So we're going to base everything out of 8 alarm clocks. Do you want to lose all 8 hours of sleep? Don't read this book because you will, right? So Emily has given it 6. So she's staying up till fucking 6 o'clock in the morning reading this bad boy. She's going to get it done.
Yeah, I finished it. Yeah.
I respect that.
Yeah. I got to a good part and then I was like, well, now I need to know. And I found out. And then I was like, oh, okay. Yeah.
Sure.
And you gave it a 4.
No, yeah, I did give it a 4. So, and the reason why is, like I said, it's a really good book. It hits hard. The first 15 pages, guys, you're going to be like, oh, fucking dope, right? And I think most people will, I guess. If you're into this type of genre, which is like suspense, mystery, it's got some very Gone Girl vibes. Also, if I were going to mash it up, right? Let me mash it up. It's Gone Girl meets Hot Fuzz. Now, Hot Fuzz isn't a book, it's a movie. But if you know what Hot Fuzz is, it's a Simon Pegg, Nick Frost movie about a small English village where a bunch of crazy stuff is happening. And it's a huge mystery. And you find out there's so much more to it, right? Mm-hmm. Book does the same exact thing. It is well worth the ride. It is a good book. I highly recommend reading it. I would not lose a bunch of sleep over it though, because it just takes a little while to get to it. And then when you get to the end, I kind of feel like you thought it was too short, but I thought it kind of took a little bit too long to get there.
But it's the main characters are husband and wife, Grady and Abby. Grady is an author, so he writes books. And Abby is a journalist, and she tends to work with victims of crimes. Yeah,
she's an investigative journalist.
Yes. And so, and then Abby goes missing.
Right.
And Grady tries to find her, and then he basically loses his mind. He can't write a book. He can't go on with life. He can't function. And his publicist, who is related to Abby, tells him, hey, I know about this really awesome island that has like a place to rent. Like, let's go out here to Amberry Island, and you can just have peace and quiet and just write and connect with nature and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, she feels sorry for him.
So he goes to that island, and then all sorts of stuff happens.
Yeah, which we don't want to get into because we don't want to spoil the book.
But it has,
it's the island that really, honestly...
It creates the mystery. And the author does a really great job at, like, making it visually... Like, you can visually immerse yourself into what you're reading. Like, you can really picture...
She is a great descriptive author.
Yeah.
I could visualize. It could very easily end up turning into a mini series. I wouldn't say it would be a TV show. You'd have to be very additionally creative to it. But it very easily could be like a 1-season TV series or a really good movie.
Yeah.
I feel like, though, it would be a better TV miniseries. But, it's one of those things where basically the wife vanishes, right? That's the big hook in the beginning. He's going out to write another book. He's obviously going through it. And then from there, though, this entire civilization of isolation, betrayal, and processing trauma is like the big themes going through this. And then, of course, there's multiple big reveals. And I think I know you didn't like the ending. You felt the ending was abrupt. I thought the ending was perfect. So if you're looking for a good ending where things are getting wrapped up and you feel very satisfied about what happens to the main characters, I think this is a good book for you.
Well, and I didn't really love Grady as a main character.
He's a piece of shit.
Yeah, I really didn't like him.
Yeah, anybody reading this, don't be Grady as a husband. So if your goal is to be somebody... I mean, I'm not saying either one of them are perfect, but I definitely think the wife was a million times better than the husband. And I was very satiated at the end of the book.
Yeah, I feel like it could have gone on or had a little bit more of like Abby's background.
It's a 300-page book. What the fuck? It doesn't need to be 500 pages. It was good. It was a good story.
No, it was a great story.
I think she gave you exactly what you needed. I just think there was some aspects
I felt like the ending was rushed. Like we could have had a little bit more go into the ending. But
I think it was
like the back and forth between the husband's point of view and the wife's point of view. Like I really did like the
Yeah, it's very Gone Girly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, obviously there's other books that written that way, but that's why I was saying where I got the Gone Girl vibes. I thought that was there, but like you can kind of see where I'm kind of comparing that to that, right? It's obviously not the same exact story, but there is some elements of like the characters and how they interact with each other and that sort of things. It does give a Gone Girl vibe.
Yeah.
But she's a gifted author, and I don't know. Yeah. I know she's written other things. She's sold.
This
I know
like
she's sold at least several
book.
million books.
Yeah.
So I don't think you're probably going to go wrong.
I've read a couple of her other ones, and they're pretty much. I've liked this one more than some other ones that she's done. But
sure, yeah, but obviously she's a pretty good author. But her descriptive narrative style is very good. If you want to play like if you're a type of person who plays a picture of a movie in your head while you're reading, she's an author to read. It's me as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Which is probably why I like books more than movies, because by the time I actually watch the movie, it's not what I envisioned. And I liked what I envisioned when I read more than what somebody else came up with.
Sure. Yeah. No, that absolutely makes sense. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. But, yeah, if you've read it, sorry, I forgot where I was going. If you've read the book, send us your thoughts. I'd love to hear.
Yeah, give us your feedback on it. And we'll continue. Once every 4 episodes, we'll get a book out there, and we're going to actually have our next book, which Emily had mentioned in our recent episode, which is available now. She had mentioned the book we're going to be reading upcoming, which we're in the process of reading right now. What is that book that we're going to go over?
Let Them.
The
Let Them Theory.
The Let Them Theory,
book,
yeah.
By Mel Robbins.
So we're gonna dive into a self-help book. So you guys, we're gonna change it up a little bit. Don't worry, we'll get back to the betrayal and murder eventually, because that is my faves. But in the meantime, let's do something that can help some folks.
I just wanted the perspective.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be great to talk about, because that's why we started this project. Is we want to give our life experiences, so hopefully somebody can see that train wreck and steer to a different side of the track.
Yeah.
So why not find a book that gives us some tools to do that?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Me as well. Any more final thoughts, though, on Beautiful Ugly?
No, I definitely think it's worth a read.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you gave it 6 out of 8 alarm clocks.
I don't know. I would like to know if anybody else felt like it was kind of rushed. There were parts of the book that felt rushed, but I did kind of figure out the ending.
I think it's insane that you figured that out. I almost for a moment didn't believe you, but you don't lie. So it just threw me off.
Clues that go.
But to you to get exactly what happened, it's not going to be something you're just going to be like, oh, this person did it, they're a killer. It's not like that kind of book. So I'm telling you, you're going to read through this and there's going to be things that surprise you, which I do like that. I like the unknown. So it gave me a run for my money as far as being surprised.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the person you think is the one that gets killed is not necessarily the person that gets killed.
There's multiple twists to it. But I think to your point, you were like, it's rushed. I can see where you think that. But I think the point is it was an implied elongated process. So you do get that sense by reading it. It just doesn't take 50 pages to get it. And I'm glad because I think it would have been a mistake to do that.
Yeah.
If you would have gone into more detail of what happens there at the near end till the climax and the finish, I think it would have taken away from the book. I think the implied elongated kind of torture that it represents is better than actually doing it. That's my personal opinion. That's just a thought. It's not a debate by any means. I see where you're coming from.
Yeah. But I do enjoy the twisty mystery.
It's a good book. And guys, it was on our site. It's been on our site for weeks now. You can go to Amazon for it on the link out there. So you obviously can go and search this book. But if for some reason you're having trouble finding it, please reach out to us, give us a shout, get us on our social media, and we will give you a link to get the book.
Yeah.
Not a link that benefits us in any way. We'll just give you the Amazon link.
Definitely worth a read.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it was for me, it was a very quick read, but
yeah, I'm just not a fast reader, but I have had books where I stay up all night. This wasn't one of them, but there was parts that I got to the book and I was like, I've got to know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
That's a good book.
Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. That's going to wrap it up for today, right? I mean, we're rolling through that book. We're going to be working into our next. Be on the lookout for our next episode. We're going to be diving right back into Do We Have to Talk About It? We've got a lot of stuff. We may even have an international edition coming. So we're actually getting so many questions from other countries now that we may just dedicate one whole episode to that, which I think would be fantastic. But we've got so many. We're going to be expecting another couple, definitely a couple full rounds of Do We Have to Talk About It?
Yeah.
And
I'm excited.
As always, like I said, please go out, follow us. We're on pretty much every social media that Elon Musk has deemed important. Just kidding. But no, we're on all the actual important. I don't know why I made an Elon Musk joke.
I don't know.
It's because I was just watching a news article about him and I was going to try to make fun of him a little bit, but I didn't. But we are on... we're on Instagram. We're on Facebook. Everything Do We Have To Pod. So, of course, Instagram and Facebook, it's do.we.have.to. We're on our YouTube channel is where we have our recorded show. It's Do We Have To Marriage Podcast, right? We're on Instagram, Threads, Facebook, X, Blue Sky. Am I forgetting anything? I don't think so. But we are on a lot of stuff. You can go out and find us. Please follow us, comment, give us your questions. And then, of course, the wonderful dowehavето.com. That'll have you updated on all new things going on with the show. It'll have access to seeing the book we're going to do for our book club.
Yeah.
And the most important thing, it has our Do We Have to Talk About It submitted questions to the show. Give us your feedback, give us your questions, and we'll talk about it on air.
Yeah.
And always
hashtag Do We Have To Crew.
Absolutely. Hashtag Do We Have To Crew. Guys, thank you so much for listening to the show. Again, thank you for all your feedback, your comments, and we look forward to chatting with you again here very, very soon.
Yes, we do.
Have a great day and a wonderful week, everybody.
Bye.
Love you, bud.
Wake up, I'm about to shake up every little thing, show you all that we can be. Come dance in my glow.